Hello, Nymphy. Hello, 𝑪𝒐𝒎𝒂𝒏𝒅𝒔. Hello, Calvin. Hello, Gabriel. Welcome. Good morning. Good morning. Good evening. Good evening. Long time no see. Haven't seen you in a long, long time. Hello. Hello. Welcome. Hello, cyborg movies and TV shows. 67. Hello. Hello. Welcome. Welcome to stream. I forgot to grab my air conditioning remote. It's across the room. Okay, can I maybe I can stretch and push my chair real far back. Hold on. Pushing my chair real far back. Hold on, pushing my chair further back some more. Hold on. Reaching for the air conditioning. Oh, it's really far. Okay, I need to get up. Hold on. Hold on. Okay, I got it. Okay, I got my air conditioning remote. Cause, okay, my chair is very squeaky, but basically I put my remote on my bed and I forgot. So, is it time for EPs? Hold on, my air conditioning. Cause you gotta do air conditioning. It's way too hot nowadays. It's way too warm. Ugh. Very warm. But yes, hello and welcome. We're gonna be doing reading stream today. It's a reading stream. Nearly. Oh yeah, you are going EP. Cause you always go EP around this time. But yeah, today we're doing reading stream. We're gonna be reading the visual novel from the other day. I might try to finish it in one go. I feel like it's gonna take me 4 hours. Cause my usual maximum reading time is 3 hours. That's when my voice starts to get croaky. But perhaps it'll be okay still. Hello, 𝒂𝒂𝒂. Welcome, 𝒂𝒂𝒂. But today we're gonna continue the other the visual novel we were reading the other day, where basically we ran away from something and then we went to this castle. There was this princess. We became her maid for a month and then she ate us. She literally started biting into our throat and then blood went everywhere. It was we got cannibalized. But yes. Just started now. I do have everything set up. You know what? I'm gonna wait a couple of minutes. I'll wait a couple of minutes before I start. Just a little bit of a yappy. Oh my god!
Trumpet super chatted $2.00. You've had a busy day today, Briar. Gonbut.
Gonbut. It said Gonbut. Thank you, Briar Trumpet. For the super chat. Busy day. It was busy day. We had an afternoon stream today. Mostly because so I saw that Mr. Blurry had played Vermintide 1 on his channel, and then I was like, you want to play Vermintide 2? It's on sale. It's 90% off. It's no longer 90% off, but it gets on sale fairly easily. And then he was like, hell yeah, but he only streams in the afternoons because he's Australian like you, my ear trumpet. So we did afternoon stream because whenever I play Vermintide 2, it's not really I don't really strive. Usually I wouldn't say I strive for content. I just play for good time. I play to introduce people to the game. Hello, Egg Lily. Hello, Kota. Welcome, Kota. Egg. Okay, wait. I think my eyes are not opening big. Hold on. Okay, now big. Big eyes. Ugh. Is it the angle of the camera? Why are my eyes not opening bigly like usual? Oh my god. What the heck? Okay, what if I make my eyes smaller? Okay, that works. Not as big though. I can go like, huh? I guess I can. I think it's just the angle actually. Let me adjust my camera. You're gonna hear it crack. Oh god. Oh, how did that work? How did I? Okay, no, I held up. How did I? That was so weird. How did I like go like that? Hold on. Oh, I'm bald now. Well, guess I'm bald. Okay, I think I need to bend my my stand further back. Ah, cracking noises. Okay, I think this should be better. Plus, I think the camera was too low, so I couldn't pick up my eyes. Sounds like you're cracking your deck. No, it's just the hinges of the phone stand. You gonna look up? Okay, now I open. Oh yeah, I think it's just the angle. I don't think it can detect my eye opening when I'm like facing the sign. But yes, we are bomb now. Okay. I think I must try and start the video game. I'm sorry if it's a video or not, but we're doing a reading stream. It's going to be very calm. Very calm indeed. Okay, hold on. Ah, wait. Okay, I don't know what's wrong with the stinger. I tested it the other day and it's having some issues. Good morning. Good morning, Paladin Stan. Welcome. Do I have my music on? I guess not. Okay. I think it's just a game. Maybe. Also, I'm tiny. Why am I tiny? That's too big. And that sounds good. Maybe a weight breaker, and then I can like. But if I make myself a little too big, then my bow hits the top of the thing. You know what? I think this is a fine size. This is a fine size indeed. We are just bored now for at least 5 minutes. Okay, so the last time we played, we read, princess girlfriend started chomping on our neck and eating our flesh. And then the game was like, you wanna try again? And then we clicked yes, and then it basically went back to the beginning of the game, and then it let us pick the other 2 routes. So that's where we're going. Oh, it was this part. Yeah, we got nommed on. So fight against the fate. Okay, we reread this already, and now it's like go to shore or go to village. So I'm gonna go to the village first, because last time when we played video game, when we read the visual novel, I did a poll, and then village and castle got a tie, and then I basically did a gamble, and then I said if I won the gamble, I go to the castle, and I won the gamble, so we went to the castle, and we proceeded to get our neck eaten. But now, so now we go to village, and then we go to shore later. All right. Reading mode activate. How do I read again? Other than with my eyes. I forgot how I did like the narrator voice. It's going to be so disjointed if you watch like the playlist. Briar. Why does it sound loud? It sounds loud. Hold on. Where's the audio? So maybe a little lower. Just a tad bit. That affected? Oh, that doesn't affect. Oh, okay, wait. Okay, I think it's good. Channel your inner goob narrator. I don't think I did goober voice for narrator. Ah, it's fine if it's like disjointed, I suppose. So, hold on. So you want to go to the village? Good idea. Let us see what further trials await you there. This night is far from over, as much as you might wish it was, and there is still much and more to discover. Good morning again. Good morning, go my books. Did you have a good eat, considering you eat a bit late today? I wonder what will happen next. You follow the path which leads to the village, supporting yourself on weary, aching limbs which feel ready, at a moment's notice, to snap at the knee beneath the burden of your weight. The soles of your feet are screaming at you. You need to lie down, and quickly. You only hope, as you continue to run, that you will find a suitable residence in which to rest at the village. Good evening, Briar. Hello, you. Welcome. What are you doing lately? Good eep. You had good eep? Oh, an okay eep. Well, I suppose okay eep is a good eep. Like, not bad eep. If it's not bad, I guess it's relatively okay. You do not know what will await you at the village, but you have visions as you run of a quaint, scenic settlement, all attached cottages with sloping roofs. I need to learn how to read better. Surely there will be a kindly peasant who will be willing to put up a young runaway for a few nights. You can imagine, too, the face of this kindly peasant from the fairy tales you read in abundance as a small child. She will be broad-shouldered and ruddy-faced, with dull brown hair crammed beneath a cap. Her arms will be sturdy from many years of washing clothes and milking cows, but she will be kind to you and compassionate, just like a mother. You do not know what mothers are like. You hardly ever spoke to yours. You are only guessing. You are not a complete fool, however, despite your tendency to daydream, and you do have a few reservations. Peasants do not, as you know from your voracious reading, have much money, nor do they have much food. It might be hard to convince a resident of the village, even the kindly washerwoman of your fantasies, to take in a complete stranger. Still, you must try. That is all you can do, really. So you run to the village. It takes some time before you finally emerge from the woods, but finally you manage it. How much time, you ask? I cannot answer that. Did I not say that time had begun to lose all its meaning? The forest is behind you now, at least, and all the awful nightmares which dwelt within it. It is still cold, though, and still foggy. It is still dark, too. The sun has yet to rise. You can see the moon more clearly now, though, as it hangs above your head, round as any pearl or crystal ball. The moonlight shines down upon the village, nestled among the hills like a diorama. The thumbnail implies self-disclosure in 𝑪𝒓𝒆𝒂𝒏𝒅𝒔 today. No! I just went to edit like the main character into like my hairstyle. Like my hair colors and like my bow and stuff. Welcome, denizens of Wizardville. We're just continuing the Yandere visual novel from the other day. The one where we had a princess girlfriend and she ate our neck. Domed it. And she was like, I murder everyone who I care about and I eat them alive as devotion. So now we're continuing. But we're picking a different route. Hope anew bubbles within you. You have finally made it. Surely not, but your salvation awaits you. That kind of simple was like images are working towards. Get eaten. Nom 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 nom. You follow the winding dirt path to the village, looking this way and that. But your hope, such a precious, fragile thing, soon begins to fade. The village, up close, does not look half as welcoming as you imagined. There are cottages, yes, but they are in a state of disrepair. There are holes in the roofs and holes in the windows. Most of the doors are tightly shut, but others are gaping open. The kitchens beyond them even darker than the night sky which shrouds you. There are no lights on in any of the windows, and neither can you see any people, insomniacs like you, at them. You cannot hear anything either, beyond the sound of your own footsteps and the low, mournful sighing of the wind. The village is quite quiet, eerily so. It is immediately obvious, even to a naive girl such as yourself, that something terrible must have befallen this village. You know before you try your luck at one of the houses that nobody will answer you. There will be no kindly, red-armed washerwoman to welcome you here, no matter how much you wish for it. But that does not stop you from wishing regardless. Your knuckles rap smartly against the wooden door. Your efforts soon prove, however, to be in vain. There is nobody here to hear your entreaties. What is it even? How very sad. You try another door, then another, but the result is the same regardless of how many doors you rap upon. Nobody answers you. How could they? There is nobody there. Once again, you have found yourself all alone. At least you have found some dwellings in which you can rest your weary head. Will you utilize one of the cottages for your purposes? Nobody is here. Might as well. But no, an abandoned cottage is not what you were looking for. You would far rather have companionship, would you not? Bravely, you swallow your tears. You wipe your eyes with the back of your arm in a well-practiced motion. Then inhale. You square your shoulders. And keep on going. Is this horror? I guess Yandere is kind of horror. Surely the village cannot be completely deserted. There must be one person here at the very least who can help you. That is what you are thinking as you resume your search. You flit from cottage to cottage with precious little to show for your determination, until you make yet another discovery. The village, with its squat thatched cottages, bathed in the moon's glow, has a church. Well, of course it has a church. The villagers who once dwelt here were not godless heathens. Not that their faith did them all that much good in the end. Still, the sight of the church soothes your overtaxed heart. You were so focused on your fantasies of a kindly washerwoman taking you in, you did not pause to entertain the fancy of a kindly nun doing much the same. You don't want it might be a can. Wait, and that. And that. Maybe it's not. I don't know. But and that. All hope is not lost. I think it's just loud in my ears. Maybe I'll make it less loud in my ears. Get less loud. Oh my god, I think that affects you. No, that does affect me. Oh, I think that's good. I don't think that affects me. Ah, wait. You approach the church, which seems to tower over you despite it being so humble. The church is a small one, but it is stout and sturdy. It must be, for it has withstood centuries, forever standing, sentinel on this hill, like a relic from a bygone era. The church does not have any stained glass windows, but it does not need them. Even without more luxurious trappings, the church still exudes an aura of dignified solemnity. The stone building is fringed by a sizable graveyard, one which occupies the rest of the hilltop and some of its sloping sides. The graves, which have been planted by generations of wardens, are hewn from a similar stone to that which the church's walls are made of. Some of the gravestones are shaped like lozenges? Like cough medicine? Throat medicine? While others are shaped like crosses. I guess it maybe lozenges sound is also a word for like a circular object. A handful of headstones are even shaped like angels, though these are few and far between. There are very few people in a village such as this one who can afford such luxurious final resting places. You look at the tombstones with an almost childlike curiosity, forgetting, in your examination, of the visceral, heart-rending fear which gripped you as you ran through the forest. You are out of the woods now, and you have, subconsciously, already begun to relax. You try to read the names hewn into the myriad tombstones, but it is dark and you are tired, and some of these graves are very, very old indeed. You strain your eyes, but you do not have much luck in this endeavor. Oh well, such superfluous details are not important. You eventually tire of examining the graves and turn. This graveyard is an expansive one, unusually so given the village itself is so small. How can it boast so many corpses? And there is much to explore. You walk about the perimeter of the church, casting your gaze first here and there. First here, then there, then everywhere, consumed as you are by your immense, all-encompassing curiosity. And as you do, you see her. Oh, it's a lady. She looks like an ordinary girl, small and scrawny, just like yourself, but she's much, much more than her unremarkable appearance might suggest. Doomed, dearie, poor doomed, dearie, but we are the ones who are doomed. Hello, Cabbage. For some moments you observe her, hiding, all the while, in the shadow cast by the church, like a furtive lizard clinging against a rocky edifice to shroud itself from the sun. There's no sunlight here though. There's only the night sky, and the stars, and the moon. Beneath the moon's light, a silvery implement the girl is clutching shimmers. It takes you a few moments to see what it is the girl is clutching in her hands. It is not until you see her manipulate it, its sharp edge biting into the earth, that you understand. It is a shovel. This girl is standing in an isolated corner of the churchyard, late at night, and she is digging a grave. Doomed Briar. Well, you suppose she could always be digging a hole for the sake of it, but her work seems much too precise for this to be the result of mere whimsy. It is hard for you to see her face, given the distance between the pair of you, but her posture is one that speaks of supreme concentration. She moves slowly, mechanically, like a woman on a mission, driving the end of her shovel into the earth over and over. Her motions are regular enough to be repetitive. There is something hypnotic almost in the manner in which she attends this task. Should you risk interrupting her? Do you dare? You get the feeling that she would not appreciate it. The shovel in her hands, meanwhile, is rather hefty. If she wished it, she could cause you no small amount of damage with it. Cold anxiety makes your skin prickle. You do not know if you should risk speaking to her when she, in her dark cloak, with her shovel, looks so very strange. But what do you have left to lose? You have come this far. It would be folly to turn back now. It is with this thought in your mind that you decide to approach the strange girl. Your footsteps are quiet. You have grown accustomed to slinking around like a cat, but they are not quite enough. They're not quite enough. The girl's senses must be finely tuned, because she blinks. Then she turns. Your eyes meet, and once they do, you feel your breath catch in your throat. You did not have a clear view of the girl before, concealed as you were in the shadows, but now she is looking at you, and you can tell that she is pretty. Her skin is very smooth, and her hair, though obscured by a dark hood, is very fair. Her eyes, meanwhile, are a clear, cool blue like ice. Those eyes of hers, which are large with unease, are fringed with very long, fair eyelashes. She looks as though she has stepped out of the past pages of a picture book. She is simply too perfect to belong to this world. Perhaps she is some kind of vision, a waking dream, a hallucination? But no, she's none of those things. The shovel she's clutching in her hands looks solid enough, its pointed tip glittering wickedly in the moonlight. You steel yourself, expecting, perhaps, some sort of outburst, but the tension soon drains from the girl's slender shoulders. Her fingers, which were once gripping the handle of her shovel tightly, relax. Her lips curve outwards at the edges. She is smiling, and what a smile it is! It is transformative. When she smiles, she looks radiant, angelic almost. Hers is a smile that is so suffused with light that your eyes begin to prickle from it. You are so relieved, you almost feel as if you could cry. It would not be the first time you have wept during this night, and neither would be too surprising if you did. You have been through a lot. You must be exhausted. The girl holding the shovel seems to realize this, because she bridges the distance between you cautiously, as one might approach a skittish cat. Then she says in a rough voice which does not match her dainty appearance, well, she does live in a rural village. What are you expecting? Oh, she has a rough voice. What's a rough voice? If I do the Batman voice, my throat's gonna die. But I don't think it's the Batman voice. Maybe like, oh. I guess we've done a regular one. Oh. I'm gonna drink some water. She looks like she could have a gentle voice, but it did say it had a rough one. I guess just regular-ish voice. Oh, it's so good to see another person. I was afraid I was the only person left alive, the only one in the whole world. Now this is quite the effusive greeting. Her introductory speech is riddled with exclamation marks. She's rather more personable than her apparel would make one suggest. You, a well-bred young lady, cannot help but feel overwhelmed. It is your turn now to be on your guard. Anxiously, you observe the girl with her shovel, and you ask her what she means. What happened? No, do you not know? There's an awful lot you do not know. So much, in fact, it will fill a whole encyclopedia. No, a whole library. You shake your head, ashamed at your ignorance, and the girl frowns. You mustn't be from around these parts. I guess I should have known. This village is a small one, and everybody knows everybody else. The girl's expression falls. At least, they used to. Back when there were still people to know. That ain't the case now, though. Not after the play. Okay, the reading voice and the speaking voice is kind of the same, right? What if I do a country accent? I don't do the country voice. Okay, I'll try and redo that with the country voice. At least they used to. Back when there was still people to know. That ain't the case now, though. Not after the play. It's so funny. You know what? I'll stick with it. There was a plague? That would certainly explain why the village, when you walked through it, was so quiet. Did everybody else succumb to this mysterious illness? That's right. It's just me here now. I've not seen another human being in a long time. It gets so lonely here. Title drop. Now that is an interesting turn of phrase. It catches inside your head like a bird. Have you heard it before? You do not have much time to ponder this, however, because a girl takes a step towards you. Oh, but where are my manners? They must have gone rusty after being on my own for so long. My apologies, miss. You look like you've come a long way. You said you were a traveler, yes? And your hands are very cold, just like ice. Would you like to come inside? Maybe have some warm to eat and to drink. My home's small, I'm afraid, and my food ain't nothing fancy, but I'll be more than willing to share. This is gonna be the most I've do the country voice. It's not every day another girl stops by, especially not one as pretty as yourself. I'm feeling very blessed. The girl laughs, a carefree, airy sort of a laugh which does not match your initial impression of her. You thought, when you saw her among the graves, that she would be more distant somehow, and more mysterious. Perhaps you are mixing her up with somebody else. You are still unsure if you can trust this girl, but her invitation is an appealing one. It is much more appealing suddenly than spending the night outdoors, in the cold, kipping on the graves. What are you, a romantic poet? Please, you make a show of pondering the girl's invitation. At the very least, you do not want to appear too eager, but your acquiescence is, alas, an inevitability. Why would you ever refuse her? She's the first friendly face you have seen all night. Without her, you would be all alone. Your hostess leads you to a small, humble home, located but a stone's throw away from the church, built in the shadows of a twisted, towering sycamore. The chapel is bang. Bang! The girl's home is in such a state it seems a folly to even call it a home. Hovel would to you be the more appropriate descriptor, but when your hostess leads you inside, her eyes alive, and she says, "Here we are, home sweet home." You don't have the heart to tell her that you don't find her home very homey or very sweet. You'll be incredibly rude. As a guest, you ought to be more appreciative. Half-heartedly, you look around your newfound surroundings. The ceiling is supported by wooden joists, and it is perilously low. Not so much so that you are in danger of bumping your head, but just enough to feel claustrophobic. Are you from America? No! Sorry. I am Malaysian. Welcome, stubborn. Thank you for dropping by. I'm doing a little reading. We're reading visual novel. We just entered this girl's home. She is a grave digger. I'm sure it will be perfectly fine and safe. The ceiling is supported by wooden... Wait, I read that already. My bad. There is a fire in the corner, though it is not consigned to a grate. The fire, instead, is blazing in the open, a circle of logs set alight like a scene from a witch's kitchen. Above the fire hangs a silvery pot, suspended from one of the wooden eaves. Other objects of interest are hung from the eaves, iron implements you take to be cooking utensils, various herbs, and strips of meat left to cure. The smell of cooking fills the air, mingled with the sharp, sour scent of unwashed bodies. Disgusting. How, you wonder, does your hostess clean herself? You do not see a bathtub anywhere. Perhaps she does not possess one. The girl's home is unremarkable in every regard, but it is, you suppose, better than nothing. At least there is a roof over your head, and food to put in your belly. The girl looks to the pot, suspended over the fire, which she gives a stir with a ladle. Then she brings the ladle to her lips to taste whatever concoction she has brewing within it. You can only hope that she is not, like the weird sisters from that famous play, brewing the broth with fenny-snake fillets. Yes, I think this is just about done, the girl says, to nobody in particular. She sets the ladle down, back into the pot, then looks to you and smiles. Do you want something? It looks as though you've come quite a long way, and you must be hungry. These words are like music to your ears, even more divine than the trumpets of God's most loyal angels. Apologies for latest. No, it's okay. You had a good morning. You woke up. Have a breakfast yet? We just entered this grave digger girl's house. I'm sure it'll go perfectly fine. I gave her a country accent. You are so hungry you could eat a horse. Not that there are any horses in the immediate vicinity. You express your interest to your hostess, who smiles in response. Ahoy hoy! Hello, Dr. Cheese Professor. Welcome! How's your project going? Are you from Malaysia? I am from Malaysia. Welcome! Did I just say kun? Welcome, kun! Bread is too gooey and not yummy. No, I've never been into yummy. I think mostly I read like hetero romance. But but I have read some Yuri. Like part welcome part. It's going where? How's your day going? It's going okie dokie. We had enough sleep for once. We had an afternoon scene where we played 𝑪𝒂𝒕 2. But now we're in this great girl's house in a Yandere game, so I'm sure it's going to go swimmingly. And I give her a country accent. Okay, a country accent. Did I wake up early? No, it's okay. It was in the middle of the night for you guys. The great digger, she must be evil. They're all evil. Okay, country accent. I thought you liked the sound of that. Just give me a few moments. Your hostess retrieves 2 earthenware bowls from a cupboard with rickety hinges, into which she pours 2 hefty helpings of whatever it is she is cooking. This she serves with bread, which is so hefty it could be used as a murder weapon. It's not much, I'm afraid. There's only soup and bread. It should take the edge off your appetite, though. Always Yuri. Non-hetero. No, I think there are hetero Yuri. Oh, sorry, hetero Yandere. But they're like, they're usually just straight up just. They turn the crazy up to 100% real quick. You thank your hostess for her hospitality, your stomach grumbling all the while. The soup does not look like anything you would typically consume, but the soup's poor presentation does not dissuade you. It is true enough that people eat first with their eyes, but when one is hungry enough, one becomes obliging enough to eat almost anything. Why else do you think that people, when stranded upon desert islands, will resort to cannibalism? Yes, head Yandere, but mega crazy. Yeah, head Yandere is mega crazy. Extreme Yandere and Yaoi. I've never read Yandere. I don't really read Yaoi, but I'll take your word for it. Humans are creatures of necessity. You like to wrap yourselves up in pretensions, but in actuality, you are not much better than animals. You are so hungry, your stomach is achingly empty, that you certainly descend upon your food like an animal. Your teeth glint, your incisors gleam, and soon you have consumed all that your hostess has offered you. Your hostess watches while you eat, and she giggles once you have finished. Did you enjoy that? Oh, you catch your hostess's gaze, suddenly abashed. You were so hungry you failed to account for her judgment. Now you have some food in your belly though, and you have been suitably warmed. Your old self-consciousness is returning. Did you not make a fool out of yourself? You demur shyly, looking at your lap, fearful, all the while of what your hostess might think of you. You do not want her to take against you. Fortunately for you, however, and for your fragile ego, your hostess is not the judgmental sort. She's not like the girls you grew up with. Well, I'm glad you enjoyed it. It's nice to see my food being appreciated. Blah! That's supposed to be her. You attract Yuri even though you don't like Yuri. Does Googling not help in finding the things that you like? Okay, country accent. Well, I'm glad you enjoyed it. It's nice to see my food being appreciated so heartily. I know I'm not the best, but I've been practicing for a long while. I used to cook for my father all the time, you see. This remark catches your attention. Sorry, it's bleeding into the regular reading. Quizzically, you look at your hostess, your abashment over your animalistic eating habits suspended. What happened to her father? It seems like a grim thing to contemplate after having eaten, but didn't your hostess mention something about a plague? Yes, your hostess says, her voice soft now and serious. That's right, there was a plague. And what of the villagers? What of her father? The background music is louder? Okay. 1 second. Maybe I should just turn myself up. I think it's... Yeah, I'm gonna turn myself up. Oh, that's too loud. Okay, I think that's better. Wait. Oh, you can choose the air conditioning a little bit. I think that's good. What if people say to live in a relationship? You read. Medium good. Briar just to be louder. Is that better? Is that better? Is that better? I'm in the yellow now. I was in the green earlier, but I'm like in like a yellow. Go big yellow. Yellow not very good though, isn't it? I'm gonna do a little reading first. Now they is that too loud? Is it too loud now? Is it too loud? I can turn myself down. I'm lagging. You're lagging? Hello, Briar. What game was this? Fine? Okay, this is very good. The character's supposed to be Yandere. They're all Yanderes. Yes! This is the visual novel we were reading the other day. The other day was when there was a princess, and then she ate our neck. She domed it. She sank her chompers in our neck. And now we are in this gravedigger lady's house. This is another route, basically. It's fine. Okie dokie. Yeah, I do realize I'm fairly soft in my recordings now that I've realized it. I need to fix that better. Thinking, hello, Yoko. You know what? I'm gonna drink some water. Good morning, Yoko. Oh, Yandere. Yeah, this is a Yandere game. Yandere, you're a game. Gravedigger. Let's go. Okay. Country accent. I gave it country. I think I gotta channel the country accent. They're all gone now. Gone? Yes, you'll see. Your hostess rearranges herself upon her chair, one slender leg folded over the other. Then she begins her tale in earnest. My family has a history. We've lived here for centuries, by the church, so as we can tend to the graveyard. Ah, so this abode is centuries old then. It would certainly explain the dirt. My father used to prepare bodies for burial, back when he was alive. He built the coffins, he dug the graves, and he lowered the coffins into the dirt. I know it might sound like an awful job, but somebody's gotta do it. There's no sense averting our eyes from death, not when it happens to the best of us. It's a noble profession, one that's been handed down in our family for generations. My father's father was a gravedigger, and so was my father's father's father, and my father's 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 father. You do it to watch. There's a Nintendo Direct tonight? In how many hours? Maybe I'll just hop onto Discord and watch it there. Connect the server. Digging graves is in our blood. That's who we are. In an hour and 50 minutes. But I don't think that. Okay, if we can wrap this up in an hour and 50 minutes, maybe. Mississippi Ganja. Welcome, Mississippi Ganja. Hello. What? I do what? I don't get what you were saying, Clark. My. That was a surprisingly pretty speech. Coming from a girl who lives in the countryside. A girl who is without much in the way of education. It is apparent, just to listen to her, and the way she slurs her syllables together, that she has never had any elocution lessons, not like you. There is a determination, however, to her, and a pride in her genealogy, which gives her a respectable aura. You cannot help but be impressed. So you ask your hostess, does that make her one in a long line of gravediggers? Yes, your hostess, the gravedigger, says. That's about right, though I was never supposed to be a gravedigger myself. It's not a woman's profession, that's what everybody says. My father didn't mind that, though. He taught me everything I knew, and then some. English to Victoria, Baba. No, it's okay. You read. Yeah! Everybody likes what they like. I might be a woman, but I've plenty of upper body strength. I can dig the grave just as well as my father could, without breaking a sweat. To the despair of my mother up in heaven, I'm sure. I'm sure if she was still alive, she'd rather focus on more feminine pursuits, like basket weaving or sewing, to better attract a suitor. Not that to put too much good now. There was nobody around who called me, not for miles and miles. And what happened to her mother? She died when I was very young, during childbirth. I was only 5 years old. Oh, well, you can relate to her at least upon this point. Your parents are not dead, at least not as far as you are aware, but you have not seen them in an awfully long time. They sent you away as soon as you were old enough, and they never once bothered to check up on you. For many years, there have been no letters, nor any visits. You offer the gravedigger your condolences. You do not know if they will help, but you feel like you cannot say nothing. That would seem heartless. The gravedigger, however, does not seem upset by this turn of events, because she smiles, albeit somberly. It's alright. It was ages ago. I don't remember her too well, and I've never really had the luxury of sitting around feeling sorry for myself. I had too much work to do. Around the house, you ask? That too. I was the oldest child, so it was my job after my mother died to manage the sweeping and the cooking, oh, and looking after all my siblings too. You blink, intrigued, then glance about your hostess's humble lodgings. You do not see any siblings in the immediate vicinity. Where could they be? The gravedigger must have noticed your roving eyes. You're not being exactly subtle, because she shakes her head. I had siblings. 2 younger brothers. They're both gone now. Oh. You should have known. You apologized to the gravedigger for your lack of tact, but she does not seem upset by this faux pas. Don't apologize. It's not your fault. My brothers weren't long for this world anyway. The youngest, he died when he was still a babe, and the oldest, he died before he reached double digits. I was upset about it at the time, of course, but I've come to terms with it. That's a fleeting thing in this wicked old world. That's something you'll learn in this trade. Digging graves, I mean. I've dug graves for the elderly and the infirm, but I've also dug graves for young babes still in their swaddling clothes. That's the nature of death. It comes for us all in the end, no matter how old we are, no matter how much money we have, no matter how good or bad we've been. As the great equalizer. Or so I've heard. A chill creeps down your spine as you listen to your hostess's speech. She's not wrong, but the inherent morality of all humankind is not something you wish to contemplate. It's too disturbing. For the longest of times, my family was a small one. It was just my father and me, but that was fine. That was how I liked it. I was very happy, even if our lives weren't the best. Have you heard of this energy drink? It give you caffeine. Wow. How does that joke work? I've never had any fancy clothes to wear, and we can't dine on the finest of foods. In the grand scheme of things, we ain't anything that special. But well, I've always felt otherwise. I thought that I was blessed. We knew hardship, of course, and famine, but that's just the way life is around here. When food supplies were low, we always helped one another out. And my father also had the rest of the village. We all looked after one another, and things always worked out in the end. At least they did. Until the plague happened. Yeah, she had mentioned the plague. You've been wondering when she was going to return to that topic. People are addicted to it. People are addicted to caffeine? Oh. Well, I guess I should drink my coffee. I do not have coffee today, I have water. You suppose that the plague is the reason that the village, as you traversed it, was so very empty? You suppose right. The plague tore through the village, I don't remember when. It feels like it was a while ago, but maybe it wasn't all that long after all. It feels like I've been on my own for centuries, but... Your hostess's eyes begin to cloud over. She looks as though she is entrenched within her own memories. What could she be remembering? You have never seen a plague before, though you have heard of them in your history lessons. Your history professor was quite enthusiastic about the subject. Coffee drinkers coughed a lot. It's the coffee. But I need to set up my soundboard. Would a graveyard keeper have a dark voice? It said she was supposed to have a rough voice, but I can't really do like a otherwise my throat would die, so I gave her a country voice. Okay. She talks about piles of dead bodies stacked up on the streets and stacked up in the wooden carts coming to take them away, with no shortage of aplomb. She was a strange woman, your history professor. I headcanon her as someone who smokes a lot. For me, I think she looks like a gentle type voice, but no, they said rough. Yeah, I don't think I can do like a smoker kind of answer. Scooby-Doo. The plague came on very suddenly. There was no warning. One day everyone was fine, and the next, they were all dead. It is with no small amount of anxiety that you eye the gravedigger. Then you ask Worthy, surely they could not all have died. Is that not an exaggeration? Oh, if only. I wish I was exaggerating, but it's the truth, honest to God. The people in the village died, one after another, just like that. Hello, Meow, welcome. Whoa! You got a Scooby-Doo voice? No. 43% braveheart, that's not a lot of braveheart. Headpad time! You for headpad. I saw what that plague does to people firsthand. My father was one of the first people who caught it. I think one of the bodies which came through that we buried must have had it. Oh, headpad cooldown. Maybe I should let you guys do double headpads, but I think if I do that, it will just like break it. Oh, you! Now that I know for certain, I'm just guessing. Still, my father didn't have an easy time of it. Skin turned all gray and clammy, and he complained of a horrible fever. There were night sweats and stomach cramps, and then there were the boils. The boils? Pustules. They were the size of eggs. Eggs! And they were full of pus. When they burst, it stunk. The whole house was full of it. A stink of death. The wise woman in the village came to see if she could be of any use, but it was no good. My father is too far gone already. She took one look at him, lying on his deathbed, shook her head. She said she didn't want to get any closer. I can't say I blame her. It was a ghastly sight. I didn't appreciate it at the time, though. Felt like she was turning her back on us. Scooby-Doo, Briar. Scooby-Doo! Scooby-Doo, where are you? I wished her ill, I remember that, after she left. Until a few days passed, and she fell sick too. Then I felt bad for cursing her. Couldn't help but worry if it was all my fault. It's silly, I know, but... Gravedigger closes her eyes. She seems to squeeze her lids together until her lashes smell like flecks of fallen snow. Her shoulders, which are very slender, are shaking. She looks as though she might at any moment fall apart. It wasn't long after that the rest of the village fell ill. They all had the same symptoms as my father. The clammy skin, the fever, and the boils. Oh, the country accent was bad there. The boils grew, and they burst, and they died in screaming, stinking agony. My father died too, only 3 days after he fell ill, but I think even that was 3 days too many. I didn't want my father to die, of course. I did everything I could to help him, but it was all pointless. None of my herbal salves had any impact. I couldn't make a blind bit of difference. All I did was stand about his bedside, telling him it'd be alright, until his eyes sank into his skull like two black bones and his mouth dried out. During that last day, before he died, he might have been a corpse already. He didn't look at me, didn't speak to me, just laying in bed with his eyes closed, groaning. I never wished any ill my father before, but during those moments the gravedigger squeezes her hands, which are resting upon her black-clad back, into fists. She trembles. Then in a voice throbbing with awful emotion, she says, "I wish he just died." Well, based on her anecdote, it does not sound like she had an overly long to wait. Oh, why would you say these things? I wonder if she would consider that a silver lining. No, perhaps not. The gravedigger is still shaking. She will not cry, will she? You hope not. Awkwardly, you look at the gravedigger. She hates your father? No, it's more like he was already dying. Like, why don't you just die already? It's also very uncomfortable for me, I guess. You are not sure how to soothe her, but you know you must make some sort of an effort, even if it is a token one. You shift upon your chair, which feels very cold and hard beneath your thighs. Then you say very softly, "You are sorry." It is not much, but it is all you can think of saying. You had thought initially that your situation was comparable to that of the gravedigger, but you can now see that this is not the case. The suffering has far outstripped your own. Not that suffering is a competition, of course. Nobody, you can't compete in suffering. Your apology feels inadequate to your ears, largely because it is, but the gravedigger does not seem to mind it. When did a tattoo appear? No, I've always had this. Hello, Briar. Hello, Isaac. Welcome. I hope feeling good. She's very big-hearted, that girl, to smile at you so, no matter how foolish you may be. Do you really deserve such kindness? I'll again with the apologies. It's alright, like I said. You didn't cause any of this. I'm not upset at you, I'm just recounting what happened is all. I do wonder, though, why I never felt sick myself. I thought I was gonna die, so I'd already prepared for the Reaper to come and take me away. But maybe he wasn't interested. Maybe he'd already satiated his appetite on all the others. That, or maybe he thought he'd have to leave me alive for practicality's sake. With my father gone, who else would tend to the dead? I was the only person left by the end of it all, so I had to bury the people in the village. They're all resting peacefully now, under the earth, but the plague can't reach them. What you streaming 𝑪𝒂𝒕 what happened? That was in the afternoon. That was with Mr. Blurry and Leo. And they were done. Played for like 3+ hours. On one hand, I'm happy for it. They were able to escape from all their suffering. But when I think about all the people I've lost, though, the gravedigger tenses. Then she sniffs. Sniffer? Not that way though. It's more like crying sniff. When I think about the kindly washerwoman who helped me scrub the mud and dirt from my clothes. Aha! So this village did have its fair share of washerwomen after all. It would seem your earlier insistence upon this particular point was not without merit. And the handsome young farmhands who used to flirt with me. The priestess who preached at the church, who told us wonderful tales of paradise. And the children who would skip stones on the lake and play hopscotch in the streets. You streamed? Yeah, I'm streaming double per day. That was the afternoon. Now it's 9 p.m. I can't help but feel so lonely. The gravedigger's eyes begin to shine once she has finished her address with tears, but she does not let them fall. She is being very brave, much more so than you are. Anxiously, you extend a hand towards her, meaning to winning and suffering. Suffering is not a competition. What? Give her a hug? You do not know her well enough. Pat her head? That would be infantilizing. Squeeze your hand. Perhaps that would be misconstrued as a romantic overture, and that is the last thing you want. You endured more than your fair share of teasing over that. You sit there for a few moments, paralyzed by indecision, as the gravedigger poorly suppresses her sniffles. In the end, you let your arm drop back to your side. Your hand rests upon your lap, as useful as damp kindling. You do not know what to do with it. You do know that you ought to say something, though, to show that you heard her plight and that you cared. You do not know what this something should be, however. No words could ever console the gravedigger. There would never be enough. And I can offer some balm, however, to the bereaved, and so after a pause just long enough to be awkward, you offer your condolences. What else can you say? You reach your big brag of feature. It's got a cute looking game and got a nice looking art, and I saw it was pretty popular. Like, it's also free on, I got this from itch.io, but it's also free on Steam, and it's like overly positive, I think. Oh no, the gravedigger replies, wiping a few stray tears away from the back of her arm. It's alright. I've grown used to it, really. Being on my own, I mean. It ain't so bad, really. And I'm not alone now, at least. I bet you'll keep me company, won't you? Well, what can you say to that? Alright, see you, Park. Remember to hydrate? Alright, I would drink water. Bye-bye. You aren't careless enough to trample this poor girl's hopes, are you? You know full well yourself how awful that feels. You can do nothing but nod, a response which makes the girl smile more widely still. Why, that's wonderful. I know you're just a traveler who's passing through, but I can offer you bread and board until you leave. I have food enough and a spare bedroom. I can make it up for you right now. You must be tired of your long journey. Just give me a moment. The gravedigger rises to her feet in a flurry of excitement that retreats. You watch as she departs, a little too eager to please, and frown. The girl's home is a small, humble one, with a low ceiling and slanted walls. You can imagine such a small dwelling possessing a spare bedroom. This so-called spare bedroom, in all likelihood, the room her father slept in before the plague carried him off. You do not think you would much like to spend the night in the room of a dead man, but what choice do you have? I mean, he's not using it anymore. Hopefully she disinfected it. You are tired, wretchedly so. Why, it is all you can do to keep your eyes open. While you were running through the forest, desperate to escape your pursuer, you had no thought in mind beyond finding some safe sanctuary in which you could recuperate. Now that you have found said sanctuary, it would be unreasonable to find faults with it. You ought to learn to be more thankful for what you have. There are many people in the world with less. You rise and follow the gravedigger, when she has finished her preparations, to her so-called spare bedroom, which is every bit as cramped as you feared it would be. That bed must be abundant. Oh my gosh! Don't sleep in my bed. Don't sleep in my bed. At least there is a bed, which comes as something of a relief. The rest of the lodgings are so humble you're expecting a straw pallet. As tired as you might be, you cannot lie to yourself. You have no desire to sleep among the hay like an animal. The sheets of the bed are clean too, a fact you discern with a cursory glance. So you will not be expected to sleep upon the sweat-soaked linen of a plague-ridden man after all. Really? This really is your lucky day. I got you this too, the gravedigger says somewhat shyly as she hands you a folded gown. Sleeping. I thought it might come in handy. Your own clothes are a little shabby. She can say that again. Your skirt is covered in mud, and the hem is torn and ragged. This nightgown is one of my old ones, so it suffered a bit of wear and tear. But I hope it'll feel alright. It's clean as nothing else. You accept the nightgown from your benefactress with words of thanks. You want to sound appropriately appreciative, but you cannot mask your fatigue. Weariness overcomes you, and you yawn, a fact the gravedigger does not fail to notice. I'm begging your pardon. I don't want to keep you. I'll be making myself scarce. If you need anything, though, don't hesitate to ask. I'll be happy to help. The gravedigger bows her head to you like a drudge, and hurries off, closing the door behind her with a thud. Tired though you are, you soon find that you rather miss your hostess's company. In the face of her good-natured smiles, you could almost forget all of the hardships you have hitherto endured. And now, Project, how are you doing tonight? You doing okey-dokey? In her absence, however, your lodgings feel almost unbearably cold and inhospitable. Hi, Briar. Hello, Draper. Welcome. Yay. We're going to bed in Gravedigger Girl's house. You suppress a shudder, then unclothe yourself. You work as quickly as you are able, but your fingers are cold and they fumble with the buttons of your blouse. It takes you more time than you would like to complete this endeavor, but soon you have your shirt and your skirt dispensed with. You are too tired to fold them neatly, so you do not bother to fold them at all. Instead, you cast them carelessly upon the floor, as defiant as a sulky child, and then pull on your new nightgown. Gonna give me a headband? Thank you for the headband. Thank you for the headband. Where's the headband? There it is. Thank you. Your hostess's earlier warnings were apt enough. It is quite worn, but it fits well enough. It is more comfortable at least than your old uniform. You have endured worse. Newly dressed and ready for bed, you loosen your hair from your braids and settle down among the sheets. It is with a sigh you extinguish the weakly flickering candlelight which burns on your bedside, and with another sigh that you lay your head down upon your pillow. Though physically exhausted, you have to wonder whether you will be able to sleep at all. You can recall your previous dash through the forest in such vivid detail your heart is still pounding. That fear has yet to leave you. Perhaps it will never leave you. Your terror was such, it almost feels as though it has suffused itself into your bones, into your very being. But your exhaustion is greater than your worldly anxieties, and soon it claims you. Your eyelids fall shut and your breathing inevitably begins to even out. It is not long until you're spiraling through a dark, deep abyss, lost in Morpheus's kingdom. But your sleep, despite your wearied state, is not as restorative as you had hoped. Your imagination has always been overactive. Even at the conservatoire, you were frequently beset by dreams of the most vivid nature. The dreams you have this night, lying beneath unfamiliar sheets upon an unfamiliar bed, are no intense than usual. In your dreams, you are back in the conservatoire, the place where this adventure of yours began. You are wearing the crisp white blouse you once discarded, and your grey, unremarkable skirt. Your hair is tied in braids, and your eyes are downturned, forever focused upon your feet. You tried not to look at your classmates, and you thought yourself fortunate if they did not look at you in return. I think this is the same from the other path, but we can read this still, I guess. You did not want anybody to look at you, to notice you, until that awful winter, that is, where everybody stopped paying attention to you for good. Nobody tried to trip you when you walked past them in the hallways. Nobody, in fact, so much as glanced at you. All of a sudden, there were no malicious whispers, no wicked laughter, no pulled hair, and no thrown objects. Okay, this is new, never mind. You were giddy with relief at first over this newfound means of tormenting you that your classmates have devised, but this little game, that of complete and utter disregard, continued on and on and on, as the days grew shorter and the nights grew longer. As time passed, you began to fret as to the state of your own corporeality. Could anybody still see you? Did you even exist at all? Then at long last you found it, quite by accident, the source of all your woes. One of the girls had erected it in the forest through which you were sometimes bidden to jog for PE class, beneath the shade cast by an old oak tree. It was a makeshift tombstone, a small, meager monument made of stone, upon which one of your classmates had hewn a name, your name. You knew at once as you stood there, standing beneath the shade of that ancient tree that this was the reason behind your classmates' silence. This was why they had, for many months, been ignoring you so assiduously. They had buried you. In their hearts, you had already died. So they just pretended that you were dead? For months? Bullying goes hard. Your eerie dreams notwithstanding, you sleep more comfortably than you had anticipated. When you awake the following morning, to the sweet chirping of birdsong, you feel well rested, albeit woozy. Your head is aching. It is nothing, however, that a cup of hot tea cannot fix. You stumble into the kitchen of your nightclothes, your head loose and your feet bare, and the gravedigger turns to you. She looks at your face, which is pasty, and your under eyes, which are dark, and exclaims, in the manner of one accustomed to solving problems, not complaining about them, "Oh, you look awful. I think you need something warm to drink. Maybe you need something to eat too. Let me get started on breakfast." And that is exactly what she does. She gets started on breakfast, which proves to be quite simple affair, nothing like the luxurious food you were accustomed to in your past life. The bread is hard enough to break your teeth on, and the cheese is a bit too strong. It is food all the same though, and you do not complain. Your stomach was beginning to grumble. The tea is inoffensive at least, and you drink it gratefully. You thank the gravedigger girl for her hospitality, and she smiles at you in return, a sunny smile, like a field of blooming bellflowers. "That's no problem. Don't hesitate to ask me if you need anything else," she says, words which come to symbolize your relationship. You stay with the gravedigger for many more days, limited though her means might be. She always tries to help you. The gravedigger sets you chores about the house to keep you occupied, a fact for which you are grateful. You need to do something to keep your mind off your frantic flight through the forest. You can almost forget about it now during the day. During the night, however, it returns to you, the sound of your feet against the foliage and the swirling fog. When you sleep, you are assailed by nightmares. Sometimes you awake after midnight, the sheets twisted around your body and your mouth gaping open in a paroxysm of terror. Though you try to tell yourself otherwise, you are still afraid. Being with the gravedigger makes you feel less so though, particularly when you are sweeping the floor or keeping an eye on the bread loaves, so they do not burn. You attend to most of the domestic chores, while the gravedigger concerns herself with the work she knows best, that is, digging graves. Her dogged persistence when it comes to this pursuit intrigues you, so much so that you can help but posit a question to her when one particular morning, when the sky is festooned with clouds. Why, you ask her, perhaps a touch insensitively, do you continue to dig graves? There is nobody left, after all, to dig them for. You have always been practical, and you cannot see the point of it. What's the point in it, The gravedigger ponders, while holding her precious shovel to her chest. Oh, it is bent. The shovel is bent, now that you mention it. Happy 6'9"? It is happy 6'9"! Yippee! You know what? Gamble. There we go. Gamble. Let's see how we gamble. Yandere and Briar will put me 6 feet under. You wanna get 6 feet under? I know the gamble. Fortunately, she does not seem upset by your question, despite its bluntness. Gamble. Gamble! You should count yourself lucky. Her temperament is so very placid. Oh, everyone's losing. Everyone's losing! Cause 6'9", 6'9", 6'9" doesn't work. I don't suppose there is any point to it, really, the gravedigger eventually says with a small smile. I know it doesn't have any practical purpose, but, well, digging graves is what my father did. He showed me how to do it so I could continue his legacy. My father wanted to keep our family tradition going. I could do that one. And I suppose I want to do the same. That's all there is to it, really. Oh, the boss as well. That's all, is it? You think you can understand that? Though your companion's actions might appear to be illogical, there is a kernel of reason nestled amongst them. Rigged. Oh, it's 50%! Hold on. Air conditioning. Air conditioning, be colder, please. She does not dig graves out of any sense of purpose. She does it instead out of sentiment. Besides, I have to do something to keep myself busy, don't I? If I spend my days idling all on my own, I think I'll go mad. The gravedigger laughs at this, as though the prospect of her own madness is amusing. I have too much yolk, so you can't even spend it. Yes, you can. You gamble. You can trigger hairstyles. By hairstyle, I mean short hair and bald. You can. The bow can go off as well. The outside jacket as well. Yeah, there are a few things you can do. At least with the model. Her laugh, despite her slender stature, is not particularly delicate. It reminds you, perhaps unkindly, of the braying of a horse. What? Short hair. No, short hair. He triggered bald, so short hair doesn't trigger yet. Short hair can trigger later after the 10-minute cooldown. You are ashamed of thinking such a thing, though, and your face flushes with the guilt of it. We cannot all be well-bred young ladies, you know. Still, the laughter of the gravedigger, as it echoes through the gray, gloomy sky, is strangely desperate. And sounds forced. Her smile, too, is a touch unnatural. Thank you for the headband. The rictus grin of a corpse. You find, despite your attempts to return her laughter with a polite giggle, that you cannot respond. You cannot help but pity her. 𝑬𝒂𝒕 Is this 𝑬𝒂𝒕 enough? You retreat indoors briefly after your talk with the gravedigger, then set about some simple chores. The gravedigger trusts you well enough to manage sweeping the floor, a task which does not take particularly long, and the preparing of the meals, a task which takes slightly longer. It is not until much later, either, once the sun has already sunk beneath the horizon and the moon is high in the sky, that the gravedigger returns from the outdoors. She is windswept after many hours spent exposed to the elements, and there is dirt caked beneath her fingernails. The gravedigger removes her cloak, which she hangs by the door, then looks to the pot suspended over the fire, a fire which you had stoked with your own fair hands. A scent of cooking food, that of garlic and onions, fills the air, suffusing the interior of the kitchen in a homely aroma which makes your stomach rumble. Taking stock of this, the gravedigger smiles at you, a toothy smile which, despite her status of a lowly peasant, is surprisingly clean and bright and white. The deep Australian. I'm gonna sound Australian. I don't know how to sound Australian. Country. Thank you so much, dear one. There is nothing like returning home after a hard day's work to find dinner already prepared. Now let me give it a taste. The gravedigger dips a spoon into the soup and brings it to her lips. She blows upon it. Then she places the spoon into her mouth, the wooden utensil clacking against her teeth. You observe this with a touch of anxiety. Does she like the food which you have prepared for her? You have cooked for her before in the past, and she was always very complimentary of your efforts. Cooking is not your forte, however. You never had to concern yourself with it really growing up in relative comfort as you did. You think that you enjoy this rural, rustic mode of existence more than you did any of the privileges of your past life. At least now, with a gravedigger, you have a steadfast friend, a staunch ally. When you are with her, you are not alone, and that is worth its weight in gold. The gravedigger exclaims, after drawing the spoon from her lips, her smile, a bright, guileless one. That's delicious. Your face flushes at this compliment. You are unaccustomed to receiving them, and it makes you feel good. The glances are not very controversial. What kind of controversial person? Wait, I'm trying to arch my eyebrows. Wait, I think I need to do this. Yeah, I can't really arch my eyebrows today. Shyly, you ask the gravedigger if she truly means that, a query which makes the gravedigger smile. Of course I mean it. You've become quite good at cooking, really. Briar reading versus Briar 𝒂𝒕 is really different somehow. Well, I'm just trying to read fancy like. That is a relief. You were not very good at all this cooking malarkey in the beginning. You did not know how to handle a knife nor how to peel a vegetable, and you cut yourself more than once. You bled into the soup on several occasions, but never once did you throw the sullied soup out. The gravedigger lives a humble existence, and she cannot afford to waste her precious ingredients. Your soups, during your stay, have all been seasoned with the slightest hint of iron. Today's soup, however, is a marked step above all the rest. You did not cut yourself with a knife even once. Maybe your companion's compliments are not empty fluff. Oh, my hands back. Interesting. Maybe you really are improving. This soup should be ready to serve. I have some bread too, that we can eat with that. But oh, I should brew some tea too. Let me. Yes, the tea. You knew that you were forgetting something. Look at elbow grandpa. Pretty bad. What you mean? You were so focused on the soup, it must have slipped your mind. Your face flushes yet again at this oversight, and shyly, you offer to correct it. The gravedigger, however, waves your request aside. No, it's alright. You made the dinner, so I'll brew the tea. It's only fair, and it won't take all that long. Would you mind serving up the soup while I'm busy? Of course you would not mind. You do enjoy making yourself useful. For a lady, you are awfully domestic. You work alongside the gravedigger to finish your nightly meal, and together you serve it, soup and bread, alongside 2 cups of piping hot tea, prepared by your hostess's own 2 hands. Fled. Well, if you want, I could do this, I guess. I could hide myself. Oh wait, let me adjust back. Okay. Back to game. You sit together at the table, then partake in this simple fare after saying grace. The soup really is quite good, despite it being made from only the most commonplace of ingredients. There is a bit of a kick to it, and it warms you from the inside out. Technically, you're fed too. That is true. It is true. The tea, meanwhile, is very soothing, so much so it makes you feel rather sleepy. You will like to sit with the gravedigger for a little while longer and tell stories, as you have sometimes in the past. That or play cards. The nights are long, and there is no better way to pass them than spending time with her. Games of old maid, alas, will have to wait. You are too tired for it. You do not know what has happened, but after consuming your victuals, you feel utterly fatigued. You explain your predicament to the gravedigger between your yawns, and she nods in response. That's alright, you don't need to stay up with me. Not if you ain't up to it. You should head off to bed and rest that pretty head of yours. You do not think you're particularly pretty, but you presume that the gravedigger is just regurgitating a phrase to you. She does not truly mean it. How could she? She's far prettier than you are. You thank the gravedigger for her understanding, then rise from the table. You retreat to the spare bedroom on trembling legs, then change out of your clothes. You have only just slid into your nightgown when you hear the rapping of knuckles upon your door, light and unobtrusive. The rapping could, of course, belong to but one person. It is a gravedigger come to check up on you. I'm sorry, the gravedigger says, her voice soft, but you rushed to your room so soon after eating. I couldn't help but worry about you. Would you mind if I took a look at you? I just want to see if you're alright. The gravedigger is trying to keep her voice steady, but you can hear it wavering regardless. She really does sound concerned, so much so She could very well be on the brink of tears. You do not want her to cry for you. You would feel horribly guilty if you upset her, even inadvertently, given all that she has done for you. You bid the gravedigger entry into your room, therefore, without further delay, an invitation she hastens to take. The door swings inwards with a creak, and there your hostess stands, still attired in black, her clothes a stark contrast to your pure white, well-off white, nightgown. The gravedigger looks at you, seated in bed with your hair free from your usual braids, and exhales. Is that relief, you wonder, playing about her face? But why? What was she expecting to see exactly before entering your bedchamber? Thank you for letting me in, the gravedigger says, showing with her fingers. How do you feel? Not too terrible, you reassure her. There are no particular problems with your health. You just feel tired. Are you sure you're not sick? Your face does look a bit pale. That'll be nothing out of the norm. You are always pale. True. Now, is there anything I can do for you? Would you like something warm to drink, or maybe a hot brick to place in your bed? It should keep you warm. You appreciate your hostess's thoughtfulness, but you reassure her that this won't be necessary. You'll be fine. I hope so. I thought that about my father too, before the gravedigger begins, but her voice soon trails off. She does not finish that thought. She does not need to. You know now what she was thinking of before she entered your bedroom. Cold, clammy skin, a sweating brow, rank, oozing pustules. You think upon these symptoms, which are eerily similar to those recounted during the great plague which once beset your own country, and you shudder. You don't want anything, then I'll be on my way, the gravedigger says. Oh, before that? This was just a fancy on my part, but I was wondering, would you mind if I brushed your hair for a little while? Your hair? That's right, it's such a pretty shade of red. It's all I just thought. Yeah, the main character is supposed to have red hair. I edited it to be blue in the thumbnail. Well, just a fancy, really. You don't have to let me, not if you don't want to. But I thought it might help you relax if you're feeling under the weather. I've heard it's supposed to be soothing. That's what the gravedigger says, but you have a distinct feeling that she is the one looking for solace here. She's not quite so selfless, perhaps, as she would like you to think. But she has been so very good to you, and has done so very much for you, that you do not want to begrudge her this small self-indulgence. You rather think she deserves it. You agree, therefore, to her request. Upon doing so, you are certain you have made the right choice. The blue hair looks nasty. I just better try to make it look like me. Hold on, let me adjust my chair. Your hostess's face lights up immediately, in a manner which makes you blush. Oh, thank you. It'd be my honor. Now let me fetch my brush. The gravedigger retreats from your room in a hurry, but returns soon thereafter, holding in her right hand the promised brush. The artifact acquired, the gravedigger then settles herself upon your bed, by your side. She looks at your hair for a few moments, her expression pensive. Then she announces that she will begin. The gravedigger leans in. The wooden frame of her bed creaks under her weight, a creak which melts under the sighing of the breeze outdoors. You can feel the bristles of the brush running through your hair. It is soothing enough, so much so, it makes you shiver. The sensation is a pleasant one, and somewhat nostalgic. Did your mother not do this for you, you wonder, when you were a little girl? If she did it, it must have been when you were a very little girl. You have not seen your mother in quite some time, not after you enrolled at the conservatoire. Oh, you have so much lovely hair, dear one. It's soft, just like silk. Not at all like mine. Mine is so coarse. This gentle voice draws you out of your vague, half-formed reminiscences. It sounds as though the gravedigger is lost in nostalgia of her own, because her voice, when she next speaks, is dreamy. I think my mother used to brush my hair like this for me, back when she were still alive. That must have been a long time ago, though. And it's funny, you think, as the bristles of the brush continue to slide through your tresses, that you and the gravedigger should both be reminiscing, in tandem, about your respective mothers. Perhaps there is something maternal in the act of brushing one's hair, which is wont to summoning forth such images. I would not know personally. I cannot remember my own mother at all. I don't think I liked having my hair brushed much, the gravedigger continues, her breath warm against the exposed nape of your neck. My mother used to complain that I squirmed too much. I can remember that. She always told me to sit still, though it wasn't my fault I squirmed. She used too much force. Now this is curious. It sounds as though the reminiscences of the gravedigger are not particularly fond after all. Did she not get along well with her mother? I can't rightly say, the gravedigger replies, in a somber sort of voice. I was young, like I say, when she died. I really don't remember her too well. But I don't think she ever had that much time for me. She was too busy with all the cooking and the cleaning. Oh, and looking after my baby brothers. But she had time enough, despite that, to brush her hair. She did what she felt she had to make me look presentable. Not that it really worked. I wasn't like the other girls in the village, you see, who liked to sit indoors with their mothers and sew. I always loved the outdoors. My father said I inherited that from him. Ruefully, the gravedigger smiled, not that you can see with your back facing her. My mother said I wasn't very well maidenly. She didn't like that I was traipsing around the outside after my brother, watching as he dug graves. She said it wasn't appropriate, like I was some sort of a princess wearing a fine dress. The gravedigger snorts. I used to get a bit muddy, yes, or maybe I did get bugs in my clothes and knots in my hair, but it shouldn't have mattered. It's not like I ever had hopes of marrying a prince, no matter what my mother said. But still, she hoped. She had a lot of hopes, my mother. High hopes. I think she might have resented my father, maybe, for working such a menial job. Our profession is an honest one, but it's never made much money. I think my mother was hoping for fine jewels and dresses and... Oh, I don't know, she always had ideas. Her head was full of fairy tales. It was a shame, I suppose, that her reality didn't match up to what she wanted. I didn't match up to what she wanted. The bitterness in your friend's voice is unmistakable. So much so you want to console her. What would you say to her, though? You never met your companion's mother. You never will either. Her cold, inert body has been laying in the graveyard, buried beneath a tombstone, for over a decade. You have no way of ascertaining whether your companion's mother truly cared for her. You do have intelligence enough, however, to understand that poorly thought out condolences can cause more harm than good. You would not like it if people try to reassure you that, of course, your father loved you really. Hold on, some water. Delicious water. If he loved you, then why did he send you away from home? Why did he never send you any letters? You know, he was worried about his finances, but that seems a poor excuse to pretend that his only daughter did not exist. As for your own mother, meanwhile, she was nice, at least you think she was, but she was woefully ineffectual. Though she was nominally an adult, she always cleaved before your father's judgment. You think that she was afraid of him. You do not try to tell the gravedigger, therefore, that her mother loved her, that she must have done, else she would not have given birth to her. Instead, you sit there, letting the brush run through your hair, and you say quietly, "Do you understand?" Sometimes you feel like a disappointment yourself. Well, the gravedigger says, after a pause, I'm glad I'm not the only one. I guess it happens to all of us. I guess so. Parents are only people after all. While one would hope one's parents would be kind and attentive, they too can fall victim to caprices of their own. Just because one has brought a child into this world, it does not mean one will be able to take care of it properly. Not all parents are responsible, just as not all people are responsible. It is a painful subject. Oh, well, it's alright if my mother never liked me, or even if she never loved me. I know my father did, and that's all that matters. He was always there for me, no matter what. Your companion's voice catches in her throat. She winces. At least until he wasn't. He died. and I didn't do a thing to help him. Your companion's shoulders are beginning to shake. You still cannot see her, but you can feel her body convulsing. You can sense her loneliness rolling off her in waves. It is all-consuming, like the waters of a deep, dark ocean. Grief anew pierces your heart, not on your behalf, but for the sake of your benefactress. She does not deserve to suffer so much. This you have no qualms of telling her. You turn to face her and pluck the brush, which has been hovering in the air, and nod from her fingers. Then you let her know that her father's death was not her fault. What could she have done? Could have cured his illness? I know, but I can't help but think, what if? I keep racking my head over and over, trying to come up with something. But I can't think of anything, and even if I could, it's too late. He's already dead. He's dead and buried. I buried him, and now I'm all alone. She might have been alone, you tell the gravedigger, but she isn't now, not anymore. How can she be when you are there? I know that, I know when I'm grateful, but I don't know if I deserve it. Why would she not deserve your company? You do not understand. Because I couldn't do nothing for nobody. My father was looking out for me. I was a little girl, but when he needed me the most, I failed him. I failed everyone. All the villagers, all my friends, all died. What would I do if the same thing happened to you? I don't think I could bear it. I don't want you getting sick too. Not when I care so about you so much. I thought I got used to being on my own, but now that you're here, it's making me worry all over again. I've been worrying so much I can't sleep from it. I'm scared. Your companion's voice catches in her throat. Then she collapses in on herself. She leans forwards, her arms went about her middle, as if to steady herself, and she cries. She cries and she cries and she cries. For a few moments you look at the gravedigger, unsure of what to do. Her pale face, streaked with silvery tears, seems to flicker in the candlelight. Yawn. Her shoulders, which seem too slender to bear the accumulative weight of all the sorrows she has endured, are shaking. Your fatigue continues to cling to you, as insistent as the fog which rolls amongst the tombstones in the graveyard at night. You are not so very tired, however. You cannot offer your hostess some comfort. You do not know what you can say to console her. You feel too weary to think of pretty sophisms. But there is something you can think of. You would not typically be so bold, of course, but you are tired enough for once to throw caution to the wind. That and the tears of the gravedigger are awfully arresting. You open your arms, and before the gravedigger can pass comment, you pull her to your chest. Hug time! Ah! A soft exclamation escapes the lips of the gravedigger, quieter than the sound of wintry snow as it brushes the ground. Then there is nothing. The gravedigger is stiff in your arms for a few moments, like the corpses she and her father used to seal away inside their wooden coffins. She has all wide eyes and awkward, pointed elbows, tears still coursing down her pale cheeks. You worry briefly as you hold her that you have perhaps... Another yawn, sorry. It's not that it's boring. I think I'm just a little tired. Even though I did sleep enough today. Perhaps made a mistake. Were your attempts at consoling her too clumsy? You would not know. You have never been in a situation like this before. As sweet as this is, I'm sure we'll end up like the people she buried. Yeah, she's probably just gonna chuck us in a coffin. You have never consoled any friends before, because you have never had any friends to console. It is not so now, however. You are as far away from your old life as it is possible to be, and the gravedigger does not curse you for your impudence. Neither does she try to squirm away from you. Instead, she sits there, still as a statue, cradled in your arms. Oh, I'm very sorry to show you something so embarrassing. It's just I get so lonely sometimes. Until at long last, with a breathy sob, she lets the full weight of her body fall against yours. You run your hands against your sobbing companion's shoulder blade. shoulder blades, and her back, and gently you soothe her. You tell her that she does not need to apologize. There is no shame in crying. You hug her for many minutes while she sobs against your chest, wetting the front of your nightgown. No further words pass between you that night, but they do not need to. Words are irrelevant in a moment as tender as this, shared between two souls who have come to understand one another through mutual loneliness. You sigh beneath your sheets, you still feel exhausted, and the gravedigger joins you without asking for permission. It will be an unnecessary piece of politeness, really, given your acceptance is all but assured. You have already accepted the gravedigger after all, every single inch of her. You have accepted her hospitality. You accepted her food, and now you are accepting her company. You arrange yourself beneath the sheets, then draw her body to yours. The gravedigger has not yet changed into her nightwear. Her clothes will be horribly rumpled when she awakes come the following morning, her head resting against your chest. But tomorrow has ceased to matter. It no longer exists. There is no concept of time between the two of you, no thought of the day which will dawn once this night inevitably ends. Instead, there is only the warmth shared between you and the wetness on the cheeks of the gravedigger. There is the sound, irregular now, and less intense than before, of your companion's muted, muffled sobs. There is this gentle, tender moment snatched in the midst of a deep, dark night which can never be replaced. Your eyelids feel heavy, as though weighted down with stones. They droop inexorably downwards, pulling you, like a drowning maiden, into the dark, impenetrable abyss of slumber. You yawn, then you fall asleep, cozied up beside the gravedigger, like two cats in a basket. You sleep and you sleep and you sleep, more deeply than you have allowed yourself in quite some time. God damn it! When you awake, you find that you are no longer in the bed upon which you slept in, shrouded by sheets. The gravedigger, too, is nowhere to be seen. Instead, you are quite alone, lying by yourself in the dark. You blink, but your surroundings do not become any clearer. Is it the middle of the night? Perhaps you were roused from your slumber by the desire to relieve yourself, or else to slake your thirst. Your sleep has been awfully disordered as of late, and the smallest of noises have been enough to disturb you. That does not sound quite right, though. You slept well. Of that you are certain. Your body feels invigorated, as though it has slumbered for hours and hours. How many hours? You do not know. You do not know much of anything. You can feel a strange pinching sensation around your chest, however, and around your arms. It will appear as though somebody, but who else could it have been save the gravedigger, changed your attire while you were sleeping? That is a startling thought, but the darkness which entombs you is even more so. The darkness which surrounds you is unsettlingly complete. It is so thick you cannot penetrate it. Your newfound woes do not stop, however, at this deep, unnatural darkness. It is cold, too, and you are lying upon something hard, some sort of a stone slab. And what is going on? You reach out, but your movements are soon stymie. There is something heavy lying atop you, something that is limiting your movements. You were anxious before upon waking, but at this discovery you feel downright aggrieved. A sharp prong of panic pierces you, but you try to suppress it. Hysterics will get you nowhere. In most cases, they only tend to make bad situations even worse. You ought to know that already. You swallow your mounting dread as best you can, though it is coming on thick and fast, and try to squirm. You move your arms outwards, but they do not get very far. There is a wall above you, and walls on either side of you, walls which do not budge no matter how hard you push. Not, I must add, that you can push particularly hard, your anxious state notwithstanding. You have never had much in the way of upper body strength, nor lower body strength. You do not have much in the way of strength at all. Dog Barco. You feel quite helpless as you lie there, out of breath from your meager exertions, unsure of what you should do. You can hardly see up foot in front of your face. You do not know where you are, nor why, but a terrible premonition is beginning to bear down upon you, one which initially you tried to discard. You did not want to accept it as a possibility, but where else could the truth lie? You are lying in a box, hemmed in by walls which offer only a scant few inches for you to stretch in any direction. Where else could you be in but a coffin? The moment you allow yourself to ponder this awful reality is the moment you hear it, the irregular sound of drumming. It is as though somebody, though they must be a very large somebody, is tapping their fingers upon the lid of your coffin. That, or it is raining. It is not the fingers of a giantess though, which is disturbing you, nor is it falling rain. It is dud. This sound continues on and on, as though it is drilling its way inside your skull. It is relentless. It is merciless. Like the ticking of a great celestial clock, it cannot be stopped. Your time is almost running out. But you knew that already, didn't you, when you were running through the forest? You ought to have known, silly thing, that you could not outpace your destiny forever. Sooner or later, it will catch up with you. You are stubborn though, and you do not want to accept this. Not content to simply lie there, you cry out. You cry not for your parents, whom you hardly knew, nor for your school friends, for you never had any. Instead, you cry out for your new companion, the girl with whom you have been living, and with whom you share one precious, cherished moment. You cry out for the gravedigger. Surely this is some manner of mistake. Once you realize that you are, in fact, entombed in one of the coffins she is currently filling, for who else would be moving the dirt above you, she will cease her operations at once. She will pull you out of the darkness, back into the world of the living, and then she will hold you close. Did the director starting? I think we have like 10 more minutes, right? She will embrace you. She cannot mean to cause you any harm, not when she was so good to you, and so kind. Why would she bury you? Crying to her so loudly, you fear your vocal cords might tear, all while banging against the roof of a compact prison. Your 10 minutes are rebel, quickety-splickety. You cry desperately, helplessly, and to your relief, your cries do not fall upon deaf ears. The sound of falling soil stops, albeit briefly. Then you hear a voice. The voice is very faint, given it's being filtered through your coffin's sturdy lid, but you recognize it. "And so you're awake then, are you, dear one?" the gravedigger says. She sighs. Then she says in a perplexed sort of voice, "Now that is a pickle. I was hoping you'll be asleep a couple hours more, so the last time we spoke could have been on better terms. If you keep on screaming like that, I'm going to feel bad." Your companion's words, though distant, are unmistakable. You are so tense, you are attuned to every single syllable, and each of them makes you gasp. Was this not a mistake, then? Does she truly mean to bury you alive? You posit this question to the gravedigger as best as you can, trying to keep the tremors from your voice as you do. Perhaps you think, in your optimism, that if you do not let her know how afraid you are, she will reward you for your bravery and let you go. If this is what you are hoping, though, it is in vain. That's right, you really do catch on quick. So it appears she really has committed to the task of burying you. What an unfortunate turn of events. Why, though, would she do such a thing? You thought she was your friend. We are friends, the gravedigger says, her voice still worryingly offhand, worryingly empty. I'm very fond of you. There's nobody dearer to me than you. I've had a really good time with you these last... how long's it been again? I don't remember. Neither do you. Well, this little detail set both your minds. Can't be all that important. You have other things to worry about. You really are friends. If you really are friends, you say to the gravedigger, then what does she hope to gain by burying you? You do not understand. But you understand her reply even less. Well, here's the thing, the gravedigger said in a reasonable sort of a voice, as though burying somebody alive could ever be thought of as a reasonable action. I've been digging graves for a long time, see? You cannot see, it is too dark, but you find that you do all the same. Well, I was digging all these graves, but I have not had anybody to put in them. Not for ages. That was rather sad. You think you know where this train of logic, twisted though it is, might be going, so you do not interrupt her. You know no good will come of it. All we can do for the present is lie there and listen. I was thinking I'd never find another person buried in this godforsaken village. Not after the plague messed everything up. I was getting desperate. Until you came along, that is. Now that I have somebody I can bury, I'm not gonna let the opportunity pass me by. I'm sorry, but it's just part of my job. It's what my father taught me to do. It's all I know how to do. I buried my mother and I buried my father. I buried all of my friends. I'm gonna bury you too. It is so logic in a sense. As the daughter of a gravedigger, digging graves is her job. But something about it rankles you. If only you could put your finger on it. Ah yes, there's a bit of a flaw with the reasoning, is there not? You're not dead after all. You might not be dead now, the gravedigger says, in response to your ingenuity. But you will be, if given enough time. I mean, everybody else I've ever known's died. Who's to say you won't be next? It seems rather more likely that you will die, and quickly. If she persists with her poorly thought out plan to bury you. Your coffin is not very large. It affords you precious little space. Eventually, if trapped within it for long enough, you will run out of oxygen. Then you will suffocate. That or you will starve to death. Now breathe your oxygen first. Either way, your demise will be a slow, painful one. You are unsure which death will be worse, though given how precarious your situation is, you do not wish to expend unnecessary energy needed to ponder it. You need to plead with the gravedigger, and quickly, while she is still here. You tell her, cheerfully, that you would not leave her. Why would you? You try to sound as convincing as your disordered nerves will allow, but the gravedigger remains unmoved. You say that, she says. Well, how can I know you're telling the truth? I thought you said you were a traveler. They never stay put in one place for long. You get sick of me before long, then you'll leave me. As well, at least I can be assured that we'll always stay together. If I bury you like I did the others, we'll never be far apart. I even took care to put you in a nice spot, close to my home, so you're only a stone's throw away, really. Isn't that nice? Probably you think that the gravedigger has a different conception of the word nice to you. You do not say this, however. You cannot say much of anything because the panting has begun to set in. It is choking you, stopping up your throat so you can only cry. You scream, you beg and you plead, but it does little good. The gravedigger has already buried her mother. She has already buried her little brothers. She's even buried her father, whom she loved above all else. She thinks by burying you, she is doing unto you an act of great kindness. You think that she's going to kill you. In a sense, you are both right. Your opinions are so diametrically opposed on this matter, however, that you will never be able to find any common ground. You might as well save your screaming. She will not listen to you. She's beyond listening. Shush, shush, dear one, says the gravedigger very gently, as gently as she spoke last night when she confided in you all of her fears. It won't be so bad, really. Nothing will be able to hurt you down here. It'll be just like going to sleep for a really, really long time. You can rest some while you rest, I'll tend to you. I'll plant flowers on your grave. You'll like that, won't you? This way we can always be together, and I'll never be lonely again. While the gravedigger speaks, she begins to pile even more soil onto the roof of your coffin. The sound of dirt on top of you, on your arms, on your legs, on your head, conceals your companion's final words. You cannot hear her. You cannot hear anything beyond the sounds of the dirt and the scrapings of the shovel and your own desperate, frantic screams. You scream and you scream and you scream without cease until your throat feels hoarse and your efforts are in vain. You hammer on the lid of the coffin with as much strength as you can muster, but the lid of the coffin is now shut. You're in no position to remove it. All you can do is lie there, screaming and crying and banging your fist on the roof of the coffin, over and over, as more dirt and debris falls on top of you. Eventually, enough dirt falls on you to stifle your screams for good. The gravedigger can no longer hear you, and you can no longer hear her. You are all alone, trapped in a narrow wooden box, which, regardless of what you want, is our new home. You can smell the soil in the backs of your nostrils when you inhale. It is so potent you can taste it on your tongue. You can taste the eventual, inevitable decay of your own body. You will remain trapped here, underground, forever and ever. Or to use less melodramatic terms, until the last of your energy escapes you, and you succumb to your own slow suffocation. It isn't a very pleasant way to go, but you'll forgive me if my sympathy is limited. You did bring this upon yourself, you know. You reap what you sow, and in your case, you made a series of bad decisions which led to your untimely demise. Now what do you want to do? We accept this fate of yours and rest in peace, 𝑪𝒓𝒂𝒕. Okay, we know how this goes. If we accept, we just die, and if we fight, we go to next time. So I think the good place, we stop hope for next time. And now, hold on. And now we go to Discordo, and then we try to watch Directo at the Discordo channel. I'm gonna go to the Discordo channel. Alright, bye guys. No raid to die. Bye bye. Bye bye. Thank you for coming. I grew up in. Bye bye.